Hello, my name's Nigel and welcome to this channel. I am a businessman and entrepreneur, and I've been involved in building businesses, starting businesses right pretty much straight out of school. So when I finished school, I joined our family business, which is an IT company. We are sort of management consultants specializing in data analytics, things like that. And I've been doing that pretty much straight out of school. A few years ago, I started a wedding videography business kind of just as a side hustle. And within a year, I'd built that up to the point where I could have gone full time just doing that if I wanted to, but I kept both a foot in both doors, if you like, or in both worlds, in our family business and in my own videography business, just because I like the diversity and the fun of that. And right now I'm in the process of launching and building up our Amazon FBA business. So we're leveraging our family business. That's where the capital is coming from to be able to launch our Amazon business. So yeah, I'm pretty excited for this. I love this sort of thing. I love business and working for myself, not having a 9-to-5, and kind of creating my own destiny, if you like to use those sort of cliche things. But I just love that I can see the tangible results of all of the effort that I put in. So I'm not just building somebody else's dream, but I'm building a dream for myself and for my family. So in terms of the Amazon FBA business, I'm going to be documenting it here on this channel. That's primarily what this channel is for, is kind of documenting that process. I'll cover other aspects of business and entrepreneurship, but primarily this channel is going to be to document the FBA business. And this week I've had a bit of a snag. So if you don't know, there are a couple of ways that you can launch an Amazon FBA business. So one of them is kind of with one product, and then you build on the success of that one product, use the capital that you built up and the sales from that product to then launch the next product and buy new stock and all that sort of stuff. The other is that you have a reasonable chunk of cash and you just bankroll launching a few products, and you kind of just pick out whichever is successful or whatever it is, and that's what you run with. I was going for the first option, where I had basically chosen one product and I was going to launch with that product. I may still launch with that product. We're still in sort of limbo trying to figure out how we can make it feasible and how we can make it successful. I certainly didn't want to just have a stab at this and kind of just throw something at the wall and just hope it sticks type thing. I wanted a bit of analytics and not certainty, because I don't know that there's a lot of certainty in this world, but I certainly wanted to have a good confidence that it was going to be a successful product. And what I came to this week, and this is just in doing research, I naturally just consume books and informational videos on YouTube and stuff like that. But I was watching a video and a guy was talking through sort of your pricing structure and how you should work that out. And one of the things that I had overlooked in our sort of analytics on the feasibility of this particular product is that our landed COGS, as in the cost of the manufacturing for the product that we were looking to launch, the shipping, and then the quality control or quality inspection in China before it even gets to the Amazon warehouse, that landed COGS was higher than the gross profit margin that we were going to be making. So I'll put some numbers probably up here on the screen, but just to kind of demonstrate what I was talking about. But basically our cost of the manufacturing was around $15 for our product that we were looking to launch. The cost of shipping and the quality control was going to be about another $3 or thereabouts per unit. And our selling price we were looking at was around probably $37 to launch, maybe push that up to like $42 if we could make that work. But the trouble with that model is that for that particular product, it's quite a heavy product, so it was going to be going into the category of costing the Amazon fulfillment costs were going to be somewhere in the region of about $5.42 to fulfill the orders that come through on those products. And then the Amazon cost to actually display the product to the customer, I can't remember what that's called, but the category cost or whatever that is, that was going to be about another $4 or thereabouts as well. So we're looking at like a total Amazon cost of about $9, and that's considering that we don't have any like warehouse fees or anything like that, if we have stock that sits for a long time, all that sort of stuff. So it meant that our margin then, our gross profit margin, was sitting in and around sort of the $7, $8, $9 and that's depending on how many units we took in that first order, obviously. And the trouble with that model is that your gross profit margin, so that's your manufacturing cost, shipping and quality, your Amazon fees, all subtracted from your list price or your selling price. Your gross profit margin before you add any pay-per-click advertising or anything like that, your gross profit margin needs to be more than your landed COGS. So you need to be making enough money in your gross profit to be able to reorder another item of stock for that product in order for it to be successful. And the trouble is that we just didn't have that margin in there. And currently, with the offering that we have on that particular product, I'm just not confident that we'll meet that threshold. And the trouble you have there is that you then get into the realm and the territory of having to sell so many products and so many units to be able to make enough profit to then restock your supply. And so that's the dilemma that we're in, and that's why that advice is really sound. And I got that from Adam Heist, just to give credit where credit is due. Adam Heist has a really good YouTube channel here with really informative deep dive, and he's really transparent with his Amazon stuff, even talking about categories and the type of products he's launching. So shout out to Adam for the advice on that. But yeah, I mean, as soon as I watched that video of his, I was like, yeah, okay, that is something that we had not considered and I hadn't thought about. And so most of the businesses that I have been involved in building and starting and stuff have all been service-based. So this moving into the product-based and tangible product-based business is something that's new for me, so kind of a learning curve. Fortunately, we've got no loss apart from our time just in terms of developing the actual product. So we've had a couple of samples from Chinese manufacturers on it, and we'd kind of landed that whole process. But we're going back to the drawing board now, and we'll just try and figure out if we can change the offering slightly to be able to charge a higher list price, because ultimately that's what would make this successful, is if we can get to the point where we can charge a higher list price or a higher sales price for the product. We could then potentially launch with this product. It's a market that's big enough that there are enough sales in it to take a reasonable chunk of the market. The one challenge we have with it that I've discovered this week, just in more analysis, is that there are a couple of big players in this particular category that are taking a reasonable chunk of the sales every month from this category. And so that's something that we have to bear in mind. So the advantage we have with this category is we're not talking about hundreds or tens of sellers. We're talking about a handful. There's probably like 8 or 10 reasonably successful sellers, and out of those 8 or 10, 2 or 3 of them are pushing sort of 30, 40, 50, even $50,000 sales per month in this category. But there are a bunch that are in the region of like $3,000 to $10,000 sales. So I think that there's enough of a gap in this particular category that we can probably push out some of the lower end sellers and take their place in the listings, and then land up on the first page of the search results for this category, which would then mean that we obviously drive up our sales, and then we can really compete with the guys that are top of the category. So it's not a brand new category on Amazon, it's an established category, but there's big enough sales numbers, but a small enough number of sellers that's why it led me to going down this road. And it's kind of aligned with other parts of the business that we're building and sort of strategy and stuff in terms of the type of product and brand and stuff like that. So that's kind of the thought process behind it. So thought process rather. But in terms of how we move forward now, so basically I am doubtful that we'll succeed with this product if we are selling it at $37 per unit. I just don't think that the margin is in there to be able to make it successful. We'd basically be eating up our margin probably just with PPC, and that would then mean that we have virtually no margin there to restock. So we would essentially just be feeding this beast that just sells products and doesn't make any money, which is not why we're in this game. So with that in mind, we need to think of a way that we can adapt the product slightly, tweak it, maybe add something to it, make it a bit of a bundle or something like that to be able to charge and command a higher price for it. The only thing is that we're talking about basically a 25% increase in price that we would have to meet to be able to make it feasible. So it would need to be selling at around the $46 to $48 would need to be the list price, which is not totally unreasonable. There are sellers in this category that are selling very comparable products to ours for around the $42, $44 mark. So we're not talking about like it's double the price or something like that. So potentially we could add something on to make it more valuable, make our offering more valuable, not increasing the unit price that much more, but making the offering more valuable to customers to then be able to command that sort of higher end price. And like a lot of these things with pricing, sometimes when you increase your price like this, sometimes the perceived value of what you are offering is well worth the extra money that people pay. So a small example of that this week, actually, I had been using these Jabra in-ear like headphones for a while now, and they were just driving me nuts because I would connect them to like 2 devices was the maximum number of devices that you could concurrently connect them to. And then what would happen is I would be like upstairs in our house and it would be connected to my iMac on my desk and then my cell phone, and I'd want to use it on the iPad. And then it would be like, well, I can't do that because my cell phone's on my desk and the iMac is here as well. And the headphones wouldn't allow me to just disconnect it from one of those devices. I'd have to come all the way down, manually disconnect it on the device it's connected to then connect it on another device. And this was just driving me crazy. So eventually I just got like done. I was like, okay, all of my devices are Apple. I'm just buying AirPods. So I literally bought AirPod Pros. And the thing with the AirPod Pros, they're probably some of the most premium, most expensive headphones on the market. But the value when you're holding that and the perceived value that I had was, wow, I've just spent £250 on these headphones. These are really good headphones to be that expensive and worth that much money. And so it's interesting that psyche of pricing whereby a lot of the time if you spend a lot of money on something, unless it's total garbage, a lot of the time automatically you're in the headspace of this is really good quality because it's worth a lot of money. So maybe we can jump into that sort of psyche and that sort of process in terms of our pricing for this launch. But yeah, it's a little bit all up in the air. We're not giving up. This is going to happen. We're going to launch this business. I've wanted to for a good while now. I've been studying it and analyzing it and planning it and just kind of trying to figure things out. So it is going to happen, but it's just I want to make sure that we win with it. So yeah, we'll keep you guys posted on where we get to with all of this and what we'll end up doing, whether we pivot to another product or something else in the pipeline. But yeah, thank you for watching. I hope this has been helpful, even if it's just me splurging my thoughts on you. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'd love you to subscribe and join the community. I want to build something where we just share transparently what we're up to, how we're getting on with things. So I actually was just going to do an update video this week that I recorded on Monday actually, and then I got into all of this stuff yesterday and I realized I needed to change tack and share with you guys where we were actually at with the progress of launching this business. So yeah, thanks for watching and we'll see you next week in another video. Cheers.